Afternoon and welcome to another packed room, which is great to see. I hope there's not too many outside still. But if you don't know, World Travel Market are filming all our sessions for us, which is very nice of them. And they will be on the WTM site, they say within 24 hours, possibly give it 48. So, video. Personally, I think video is the most interesting, fascinating, must-have social media accessory of the future, because it is proven and it is effective. And Thompson hotels with video on it sell 10% better than a hotel next door with no video. It's pretty straightforward. If you can see what you're getting, you're more inclined to trust it and book it. So with that thought in mind, I've asked three people to be with me today. I'm very grateful. We've got Matt Carroll in the middle of Media Arc, who's not only just relaunched his website, strengthened his companies, also become a father in the last 2 or 3 months. So thank you, Matt. Congratulations. Also got across from Chicago, Lisa Lubin, which many of you may not know here, but you ought to. She's got 3 Emmys at the last count that I know. She specializes in travel and she's an expert at it. And no less of an expert is Julie Daniels, who's on the far side. And I worked with Julie at Times Online when I was taught video and editing and saw the potential of it. And Julie is now Nutshell Video, having left Times quite sensibly, because that's dying, of course. Print is past and present, digital present and future, to run Nutshell Video. Before we get into that, because I've already forgotten how it's working, Silk Road Challenge, very quick piece of media scavenger hunt, or a scavenger hunt, as we've got up there. Anybody who's interested in winning an iPad, please do what's required on there. We're having treasure trails tonight. We've got 100 people signed up, I think. You'll need to make sure you get your paperwork here on the right. And I'm going all over the place. Blog to the Silk Road Challenge. That's the link, and the country's taking part downstairs on the floor to win an iPad. All the details at bit.ly Silk Road Challenge. Via Tour mention, viatour.com, competition. Win £50 vouchers. And there you are. There's our speakers. So I'll ask Matt Carroll first to come up. He's going to present the overview. Lise is going to demonstrate travel professional video, and Julie's going to talk through some more practical points for you all, and then we'll have 10 minutes of questions at the end. We'll present Matt Carroll. Thank you.
Hey. Right, can everyone hear me all right? So obviously we're looking at the importance of online video, and I'm guessing that everyone here has a sense of just how important video is these days online. But to give you guys an idea, in case anyone is still wondering, in June this year, 26 million people watched 2.3 billion videos, and that was in the UK alone. Now in the States, that number's closer to 140 million, and it's increasing every month. So that gives you an idea of just how much content's out there. Now, in terms of how important that is to brands, and travel brands in particular, obviously, the amount that brands are spending on online video alone has doubled in the last year to £45 million. So put simply, it's something that consumers and travellers expect to see on a website these days. It's no longer enough to have a video, a photo gallery and copy. Those things are all great, but people expect to see video. And for that reason, it's an integral part of travel brands and brands generally, an integral part of their social media spend and their full through-the-line marketing spend. So the reason why it's grown so fast, pretty simply, is these things: iPads, tablets, Androids. I suspect that pretty much everyone in here has got one of these or something similar. And what that has enabled us to do is basically consume video and content anywhere, anytime, and at any point, assuming you've got a signal, of course, which is a bit ropey at some points in Excel. People are now watching TV in the same way, or watching online TV in the same way that they would flick through a magazine a few years ago. So what you're finding now is that people will sit at home watching TV, and they'll have a tablet or an iPhone on their lap as well, and they're kind of flicking through video at the same time. So the way that we consume media has changed radically in the last few years. Now, how do tourist boards use video at this point, and what are they looking for in terms of content? Quite simply, it's one of the best ways to showcase a destination and inspire people about exactly how great your place is and what makes it tick and what makes it special. There are loads of places out there with fabulous beaches, great restaurants, mountains galore, forests, etc., etc., etc. To really capture people's imagination, you need to show them why that place is so special. For example, we did a project a few years ago with Mini where we're following a group of storm chasers across the US, and we got caught in the middle of an enormous storm that ripped the car to bits. Now you can write about that in a feature and it will make people kind of excited and there'll be pictures of it. But to really, really get the point across and show that drama and just how scary it was, you need to film it, and that's what we did. There's a clip of that in a few minutes. The other thing that video is great for is showing people some of the colourful characters that they'll meet on the ground. As I said just now, there are gazillions of places with amazing beaches and forests, and you can go bungee jumping and you can do this and that and the other, but it's the people that make a place special when you go travelling. So the guy on the left there, that you can just about see, was a chap that we met in Norway earlier this year, a ski guide. Now, aside from being a really pretty amazing guy, he knew the place like the back of his hand and showed us immediately all the secret spots that only the locals know. And that's the kind of information that travellers want to know these days. And that is what video can do in a matter of a minute. So in terms of where brands are using this stuff, it's a mixture. We've obviously talking about social media, particularly today, and obviously it's being used very, very heavily in social media. It's also being used on the main landing pages for destinations, so it's an immediate hook into a place. Immediately gives you an inside track. More and more brands are also creating online channels, social media sites we've already talked about, an email marketing campaign, so really allowing you to not only attract people's attention but retain it and build a relationship with them. So in terms of quickly how that looks and how it can look, and a bit more about how people are using it, just give you a little look at our show reel.
There you have your chill-out turkey salad. This recipe is called Bubbly Jubbly.
It's this shot for Andy Shepherd to win the US Masters.
Hi, my name's Alex Worrell, and I'm on a quest for self-improvement.
Got no idea what I'm supposed to be doing.
This is absolutely mad! These hailstones are massive! Smash the front window at the back and smash!
I eat the mud.
Okay.
Sexy like this.
In a nutshell, that gives you an idea of how online video looks these days, what you can do with it, and how destinations are using it. So I shall be handing over very promptly to Lisa.
standing in the puppy on the night. Now, mate said to me, I'm going to read the periodic table to you. What? And he started off plutonium, oxygen, hydrogen. Basil! What's that? I said, that's the element of surprise. So I give you these.
Hi everybody, how are you? As he said, my name is Lisa Lubin, and many of you might know me as LL World Tour, which is my travel blog. But before that, for 15 years, I was a broadcast journalist, TV producer, director, writer, editor, shooter, all that good stuff. And I quit to travel around the world, and now I do travel writing and I have a blog, so I'm kind of melding the old school journalism with the new media. And this is just a little reel of some of my broadcast stuff and some stuff from now.
Teach me how to snowboard.
We're not falling, we take it back to the days of yes, y'all.
Relax, relax. Yeah.
Yes! He's got to be kidding.
And we're starting up there.
1, 2, 3, 4, I'm about to board the Navimag Magallanes for a 4-day journey into the Patagonian channels. I don't think this is quite Norwegian Cruise Lines, but it might be better. Sometimes it gets a little bit windy here. Just a little. Autopilot, straight away. Now I can go back to the bar. Holy crap.
You can actually join the adventurous and do something a little bit more extreme. Here we go. Yes, sir!
Makes me that much stronger, makes me work a little bit harder, makes me that much wiser.
My kids just flashed before my eyes.
One of San Antonio's newest restaurant bars is Asenad.
Like Chicago, Montreal is one of the best cycling cities in North America.
We'll be back with more 190 North right after this.
Just a little, some stuff there. So I come from old school journalism, went to broadcast journalism school when there was a time when the only people that did video were TV professionals, film and TV professionals, and maybe your dad was running around with like an old film camera filming you. So now, like Matt was saying, how many of you have an iDevice or any kind of device with a record button where you can record video? And how many of you have 2 of those? Right, so times have changed, and in some ways in the last session they were saying it's expensive, but it's definitely gotten much cheaper than it used to be. But before we kind of get into all the questions of what gear you should use and all of that nitty-gritty, still journalism comes into play, and the most important thing is your story and your writing. There's still writing in your video, and it's still hopefully about that human element, just like you would be coming up with in a print story or a good blog post. What is your actual story? Because this is visual storytelling. So I think sometimes people think it's just a matter of shooting and throwing shots up there, when there's so much more to shooting and editing than just joining shots together. Matt had mentioned also it's about a person. And I was also going to tell the example of, we see beautiful sights, we go all over, and maybe you're at the Eiffel Tower. Okay, it's beautiful, we all know it, but maybe there's a guy that's worked there for 60 years, and he's your story, and we'll see the beauty through him, we'll see the place, but we'll get to know him and find out really more about it. There's a story in everyone, and we as readers and viewers, we connect to these people, and video is a medium where you can connect even more. You can laugh with someone. In the first session today, the KLM surprise, I don't know if anyone was in here for that. It was a great video. And through social media, I had actually seen that. I forwarded it on. It was a great video connecting with these people at the airport with the joy in their face as they're surprised with a little gift. And that was something that you could really only get in video to see their emotion. We relate to people, we connect with things, and we tell the story through people. That's your soundbite, that's your tweet, which I used to speak in sound bites. Now I guess we speak in both, in tweets and sound bites. And the beauty of video is it doesn't just tell a story, but you're taking your viewer there. They're empathizing, they're laughing, they're crying along with the subject. And you can see and hear and then make us feel something from your video. Thank you.
If you need permission to film somewhere, make sure you've got it before you go. So all of that stuff saves time, and then you're more flexible to be a little bit more creative when you get there. Right, whistle-stop tour of kit. Cameras. One of my favorites is Flip Ultra, which is a very inexpensive camera. It's about between 80 and 100 pounds. Sad thing is it's being put out of production. Cisco, its makers, have decided to not make it anymore, but it's still available. You can get it online. You can find examples of it on eBay, so it's still available to buy. A lot of people think its successor might be something called a Kodak ZI-8, which is a pocket video camera. It's a really nifty bit of kit in that you can attach an external mic to it. And when you're videoing anything, you have to think not just in images, but think in sound. It's really important to get sound right. I think people are much less forgiving of bad sound than they are of bad images. You know, if you've got something that's not quite up to scratch with your visuals, if you've got some lovely sound in the background, some music, that's great. It's fantastic. You know, it'll help to. It's like putting a sticking plaster on a a saw. It makes it a little bit better and more easier to deal with. Beautiful camera out there called the Canon 5D Mark II. It's a DSLR, which you've probably heard of. It's a sister camera called the 7D. So you've got the Canon 5D and the 7D. 7D is waterproof. So if you're thinking of going somewhere you're going to get wet, it's snowing, whatever, 7D is a really good buy. Bits and pieces that you need to go with it, a lens. You can get a 50mm standard lens for about £100, I think. You know, talk to the manufacturer, talk to the shop where you buy the kit. They'll give you lots and lots of advice on what sort of lens you can buy. If you think the DSLR is a little bit too heavy for you, then has anyone here got an iPhone 4S, the latest? Okay. What you've really got to do is try the video. The video, it's fantastic. It is the most incredible bit of kit. it's stunning. They did a test of some footage shot with the Canon 5D Mark II, compared it to the 4S, and you can't really spot the difference. The issue is always going to be sound. You can attach a bit of kit to the microphone, to the iPhone. You can also attach a mic to the Canon 5D or any other camera that, phone camera, whatever you might have. You can get adapters, and you can buy little microphones. There's a fantastic site called shure.co.uk, shure.co.uk. They'll sell every microphone that's been invented, and they're incredible. They've got a really good advice section. So it's the importance of sound. Use music to go with whatever you're filming. You can try to. It adds emotion. It helps to bring a different level to what you're filming. It helps to bring immediacy. If you're filming something sad, it makes it sadder. If you're filming something happy, it makes it happier. It's a great way to improve a piece of footage. Editing software, again, there are lots out there. I don't know, I'm not sure if we're all right in this, but I tend to use Final Cut Pro, which is, I think a lot of people use this. It's a professional editing system, but there are mini versions of it. You've got Final Cut Express, which is about £185. These are all for a Mac, by the way. They won't work on PCs. You've got iMovie. If you've got an Apple Mac, iMovie is free. It's with it. And it's a decent editing system. It's okay. It'll add some transitions. It'll cut for you. It's fine. If you've got an Apple, iPod, iPad, you can download iMovie as an app. Again, it's virtually free. It's about $2.99 or something. If you've got a PC, think about Adobe. They're a very good make. They make editing systems for PCs and Macs. And Avid Studio, again, for PC and a Mac. Those last two are about £80, between £80 and £120, something like that. Composition. When you've got this kit and then you're going to point it at something, try and think about how you'd like to frame that subject. If anyone's done any photography, you'll know something called the rule of lower thirds, where you've got your screen, you've got two parallel lines going down the middle and two going horizontally. And where those lines cross are points called power points. Try to line those up with your subject. So in your head, you've got this grid on your camera. You're focusing on a grid, an imaginary grid. Put your subject at those crossing points. I wish I could show it to you, but never mind. And then think about, don't just put a subject in the middle of a screen. Think about what's behind the subject. Think about something else that might be interesting to one side. You don't just have to move the camera, you can move yourself. So, you sort of step to one side and you might get a much better view of what you're looking at. What else have we got? Music, I mentioned. There are lots of great sites out there. If you look at something called royaltyfreemusic.com, I have them all written down on my slideshow, so I can't remember. Huh? Jamando.
Audio.
Yeah, there's loads. I mean, if you sort of Google free music or music for video or music websites, you'll find lots of this stuff out there. They're very, very good. Yeah, basically the last thing I'd say is keep it short. Keep it short. That's my mantra. Please keep it short. You've got maybe a minute, 2 minutes maximum. People switch off after 30 seconds. If you haven't kept them interested, they'll switch away. That's as simple as that. They'll go somewhere else. So, keep it short. Also, it's a great help if you can get some basic training. There's some great training courses out there. I can do some. You could train sort of a crash course in how to edit, which is a very useful thing to do. How to hold a camera, do all the basic stuff that I was talking about. And I think that's probably it. Thank you.